We are not on strike out of greed, nor do we begrudge the companies their success or deny their struggles. We all must succeed together. But the changes the companies have orchestrated in the business have made the profession of writing untenable for us and for everyone who comes after us.
The Writers Guild of America releasing this Labor Day message today, stressing the importance of fully resolving the, quote, existential issues that have been at the forefront of the writers' fight since the strike began 126 days ago. More than 4 months ago is when we first met the gentleman who is joining me now on set. Entertainment attorney and freelance journalist Jonathan Handel, you've been with us since day one.
Day one, the day before day one even.
My goodness, 127 days ago since we're counting.
Yeah.
Where do negotiations stand right now?
Well, they are still basically stalled. We've learned some informal approaches to the Writers Guild going on. There are also informal, very informal approaches to SAG-AFTRA, but no negotiations going on there. It's unclear whether they'll return to talk with the writers some or whether they'll pivot to SAG-AFTRA. But it's a very difficult situation, and this is, you know, almost like World War I battle. You know, every inch takes time.
Is there truth that they want to hammer out WGA before they get to the actors?
Well, they did pivot, of course, to WGA, you know, and met earlier last month now. So that seems to reflect that, but we don't know beyond that.
Okay, well, we're seeing just a tremendous amount of support for the striking workers. I want you to take a look at some new numbers that were put out by Gallup and their poll. It shows that in the writers' strike, 72% of those surveyed support the writers, 19% side with the studios. And when it comes to the actors' strike, Gallup respondents side with the actors, 67%. So regardless, the majority are supporting the striking workers. What do you make of these numbers? And then also, could they be part of the reason why the AMPTP has hired a PR crisis team?
Well, I think it is. The existing team has not been able to hold back the tide of public support. There's more than 2/3 in both cases for both of the unions. And, you know, this is really, as we said earlier in the package, a hot labor summer. We see the United Auto Workers who may go on strike as soon as, I believe, 10 days from now against all three automakers. So it's, you know, and UPS almost happened and so on and so forth. So this is a very difficult situation, and management is not favored because people really understand the grievances and the difficulties people have.
So SAG has the actors. They also have the gaming industry, and now SAG could be looking at another strike against the video game industry. What do we know about that, and do you expect that to happen?
I do expect a strike authorization, and whether that will turn into a strike, of course, depends on how negotiations go. But the issues here are, again, wages, AI, having a medic on set during stunts, a variety of other issues. And we're talking about the 10 major video game companies. Activision, which, you know, is engaged with Microsoft now, EA, Disney, WB, Warner Brothers Games, and so forth. So this could be, the last strike was in 2016, lasted 183 days against the video game industry. This could be another long-running strike. Okay,
since we have you on Labor Day, let's take a moment to talk really about the history and significance of the labor movement in Hollywood.
Well, this, you know, the thing that you feel in the entertainment industry and when you drive down the streets of LA is the ways in which the past, present, and future collide and jumbled together. You know, one moment it's a steel and glass tower, the next moment is something that, you know, was built by Walt Disney. And Hollywood has a long history of strikes. There was an animation strike in the 40s. There were multiple strikes over residuals from the 40s and the 50s, the 60s, the big strike in 1960, where you had a dual strike between these, with the writers and actors. And then into the, not so much in the 70s, but in the 80s, multiple strikes. So Hollywood, you know, it's interesting because LA at one time was a very anti-labor community, going back to the 1910s and 1920s. But that's changed. And this industry is a bit of a bubble. The private sector in general across the U.S. is only 6% unionized. But in Hollywood, of course, scripted production is very heavily unionized. Writers, directors, actors, and crew.
We have to go, but you see this as unprecedented, what we're dealing with right now when it comes to WGA and SAG.
We absolutely are in uncharted waters. That's right.
Okay.